Investing today could very well save you tomorrow. Common question being asked now is, with the risk of the dollar being devalued, wiped out internationally as the world reserve currency, what next? Well, odds are we're not going to start using a Chinese yuan here in the United States, much like they don't use US dollars in China on a regular basis. But there is the strong likelihood that international trade may be valued in a currency other than US dollars, particularly with oil. But that's a topic for another conversation, another video. Comment down below if you want to see that video. But more importantly, is crypto the answer? If we're going to be devalued as a dollar, maybe we should convert to cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, BTC, XRP, Ripple, XLM. What do you guys think? Will we get to a point where we're literally throwing money in the garbage because it's worthless? Well, I think it's a really good question to ask, especially taking into consideration just how expensive things are going to be. And most importantly, for those who earn very little money or are incapable of earning, not capable of earning more. And these people will be those on fixed incomes, particularly retirement fixed income. Now, we've seen record increases for cost of living adjustments as a result of high inflation for the last several months. But even still, that isn't necessarily going to keep up with what's happening. And what's happening is a devastation to a degree of which we have not seen in ever, really, for that matter, not in my lifetime. And the simple fact of the matter is that there will come a point in time where inflation will be tame. Inflation will it will settle at the target rate of the 2% that the Fed has in mind. But as we can already see happening, the value of the dollar will be destroyed. It's called de-dollarization. Nice R8 getting cleaned up here on a mobile detail. But the value of the dollar will be destroyed. The death of the dollar. As we transition to this Fed now central bank digital currency CBDC nightmare that is underway, and it just hurts those on a fixed income the most, because without the ability to pivot and increase your income streams, income amounts, diversify your income, besides the unemployed, they are going to be most vulnerable during this collapse. Yeah, somebody said, so Kevin, why don't you ever report any good news? Like, I don't know, debt being wiped out and eliminated, or free healthcare. Because, I don't know, maybe that'll never happen. I can't report news that doesn't actually exist. Unless you guys want me to report about unicorns just magically appearing out of thin air. But at the end of the day, maybe we can talk about it. You don't have to pay your bills. Kevin, if the banks collapse, do I still have to pay my bills? No, you don't. You can actually stop paying them before the banks collapse. It's your choice.
Here, trying to put some new metal on, but he's just standing on it. He's not tied off on it or anything. A little sketch.
You see, but that Joker is like wobbling.
It's like, oh shit.
Like when he moves on it, like it's those 4 posts, that Joker is not stable at all.
Oh, I can see it wobbling.
They better have some good workers' comp. Hey.
Side back or underneath the TV. So you need to look together and press the button.
What? Okay. Checking out all of the drinks.
I'm waiting for this food to show up. Incoming.
Wow, decorative too. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect, thank you.
Oh, I don't want the shrimp.
You gotta try the crab meat and the grits though.
Oh, the grits are really good. Thank you. I got the grits, yeah. They all look the same. Whoa. Amazing. These plates are truly amazing.
So, expert economist Peter Schiff has warned that we should get out of the dollar before it's too late, before the crash, and that we are likely on a path to see millionaires created, which you would think is a good thing. But in this particular situation, in this instance, and what he's referring to would mean that we are going to see some of the highest inflation ever, as the Fed can't get this under control despite raising interest rates and creating risk and possible bank runs and contagion within the banking industry. But also internationally, the US dollar is being devalued, a de-dollarization globally, pushed by China, Russia, the BRICS system, with a new digital currency backed by physical gold. We will see a point in time where potentially a pack of chewing gum may cost $1,000. Crazy to think. 25-cent nickel gum, $1,000. Granted, we may be a ways away from that, but the simple fact of the matter is that the idea, the thought behind hyperinflation, a recession, a deep depression is real. And ultimately, it's going to have the biggest impact and the largest effect on those who have traditionally aligned themselves with the more commonplace methods of savings and investing and preparing for retirement. Oh, you got anything else? Man, don't stop playing. Got hot sauce on my sleeve.
This sounded like your brother. You sounded just like Ronnie. He's a bigger duck, obviously. He's bigger than him, and I'm gonna say also him. That looks like a him. But walking back in the wind, it said, "Pew." I was hoping it would like take flight, but it didn't. I literally put it in my palm and I was like, maybe it'll fly.
And this is why I really kind of don't like using terminology and thought processes of saving for retirement, because unless your retirement savings goals are in the neighborhood of Let's just say in the neighborhood of 8 figures, it's kind of hard to plan for a specific savings amount without knowing what the future costs are going to be. You see what I'm saying? Therefore, I much rather develop and execute a sustainable retirement strategy, being retirement income versus retirement savings. A general thought process and theory is that we should work decades, save money, rely on pensions and Social Security and 401ks to coast through in a tax-deferred older age retirement lifestyle. Now, there's also the alternative approach, which would be a much earlier retirement, a much frugal, minimalistic lifestyle, and trying not to work and ultimately stop working as soon as possible. But not to live a lavish lifestyle of expense and luxury, but just not be tied to a job, a desk, an employee for the majority of your life. Instead, enjoying your life, living your life, exploring, traveling, making memories, while still being able to earn an income. But I will say that, well, what all that is happening, what's going on, we are in the middle of a switch, a changeover, a reset of the economy, the middle class, the possibility of retirement, and changes that have huge impacts on traditional income sources through mass layoffs, job terminations, restructuring, bankruptcy, and now the added variable of AI, automation, taking jobs away from people. Oh, sorry. Let's not forget about crime and theft. That's also a huge impact here. For most work that people would think of as maybe a part-time job to pick up some extra money here or there, or maybe even a job that retired could be done by seniors to supplement their income. All the while, we know that the Social Security Trust Fund is on its way to being wiped out, experiencing a dramatic shortfall coming by the year 2034, according to the Treasury. This isn't news and information that we should take lightly. It isn't news and information that we should panic and be afraid of and be scared to discuss, but it is definitely important news and important information, breaking news, urgent news, updates and alerts that we should all be preparing for. It would appear as though the clock is moving rapidly. Time is not on our side. Time is not an ally. Time might possibly be our worst enemy. Granted, many other threats posed against us. China, Russia, some domestic. Almost kind of hard to determine which way's up. Where do I look? Where do I focus? Where should I be devoting a majority of my time and effort and energy with so many distractions? Former presidents of the United States being indicted. Corruption within our own government. The very government that we entrust to protect us and make choices and decisions that are in our best interest to continuously keep this great nation at the top, only to see it deteriorate rapidly, quickly, in a short period of time and be dethroned financially, economically, ashamed across the board, internationally, and taking a first runner-up in world reserve currency. Should my retirement, investment, and income producing strategy even focus on creating dollars? Or should I be trying to create some other form of currency or some other form of decentralized currency? What's going to happen to Coinbase? What's going to happen to crypto? What's going to happen to XRP? What's going to happen to my ability to buy a loaf of bread or a carton of eggs? How much is gas going to cost? Will we see gas at $5 or more per gallon this summer? It's never ending, folks. One after another, all the while some seem to have it all together. Not a care in the world, no worries, no complaints, no issues, no gripes. Continuously producing, earning additional higher revenue amounts and carrying on as business as usual. What should my primary concern be? Should I stockpile? Should I prep? What should I be stocking up on? Where should I be devoting a majority of my resources? How much time do I have? Will YouTube be around? What's going to happen to you, Kevin? All good questions. And I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. I don't know what everyone should do because everyone's situation is going to be unique to them, their family, their current situation, their future goals and strategies. But I can say that no matter what, we have to continuously make forward progress. Is now the time to only focus on farming, growing your own food, raising chickens? Is that going to get you where you need to be? Is that going to be the game changer that will make or break your financial success or demise in the short term or long term? It's a good question. But if I were a betting man, I would probably focus more so on the basics of continuously earning more money, spending less than I make, budgeting to the T, eliminating and maintaining very low or no debt, high interest debt, revolving debt that costs me money that doesn't make me money, and continuously saving and investing. Building out a well-rounded diversity, security, and cash flow producing strategy to plan, protect, and prepare for any and all possible threats that we may likely face in the future. But it's not going to be as easy as it once was. Garage sales, estate sales, gig work, food delivery, Grubhub, Uber Eats, eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all the traditional methods of rounding up some extra cash. It's not going to be quite as easy as it once was. It's going to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult, but quite possibly more rewarding moving forward. Advancements and opportunities of creating passive income, side hustle opportunities without even really lifting a finger, and taking advantage of all that is available through AI, automation, technology, Bard, ChatGPT, OpenAI, and we are only scratching the surface so far. The game is changing. And the upcoming generation, future generations, they're not even going to think about retirement the same way that we did and or do now. It's the evolution of business in our economy and the way people will go about making money without the traditional job and employer and W-2, purely 1099, earning whatever currency and medium of exchange may be at that time, will change forever. In that transition, it could possibly be very difficult for those on the outside, those who knew a much more traditional life and worked for companies and businesses and employers that valued them and set them up and put them on a path to success and retirement. Spending time with loved ones, traveling, enjoying a round of golf, fishing, hobbies that they enjoy, national parks, sightseeing, fine cuisine. That's no more. The way these companies treat their employees or ex-employees or soon-to-be ex-employees is disgusting, to say the least, really. They don't care. They don't care about them at all. And they'll smile in your face while stabbing you in the back. And we can see it on the headlines. But yet and still, the world turns, the prices go up, expenses become outrageous and less affordable. Basic necessities, food, shelter, healthcare, transportation, education, utilities, the basics, okay? We're not talking about any extras and extravagant expenses. We're talking about just getting by. We're going to see a shift in our population moving towards homelessness as a norm. Housing affordability is going to take on a new definition, a new meaning. But, I mean, realistically, we're looking at housing affordability and a rental standpoint being 3 times your or a third your income. Well, folks, I hope you're making at least, $150,000 a year to qualify for a rental. And then if we're talking about purchasing, as far as credit scores or social credit scores at the time, underwriting, debt to income ratios, and affordability, credit score, down payment, more than likely no down payment assistance, while higher interest rates. Well, now we're looking at earning $300,000 a year, maybe more, for an okay starter home. Affordability is going to be more so a combination of families, 2, 3, maybe more, to afford the same single family home that we once could have before just 3 or 4 years ago. But these are the challenges we face, and in order to emerge triumphant, we need to understand them, plan for them, have a strategy, execute as we prepare for the SHTF or SHTF's moments that are coming, that are going to ultimately target directly income, savings, investments, retirement, your wallets, your credit limits, your credit scores, aiming at suffocating those who don't understand what's happening and how to prepare. Maybe want to ignore it. Maybe the problem will go away. But hope's not a plan, folks. And no, it's not all about money. But as you can see, living day to day, watching the news, reading the headlines, they've all switched their tune. At once it was food. At once it was fuel. At once, and still now somewhat it is political unrest and international conflict and Cold War. But the underlying theme and tone here is a huge financial impact ultimately drowning out and suffocating those who are unprepared and unwilling to become prepared. Now, granted, I know some of you will say, well, we all can't do that. But we all can do something. And to sit by idle and just wait for the train to come hit you while standing on the tracks, well, I guess that is an option. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe it's a Norfolk Southern train. It'll derail before it gets to you. But yeah, folks, this is it. There are options. There are income producing ideas and opportunities that exist in person, online, virtual, automated. And the beauty of it is you don't have to only choose one. You can choose multiple and further develop your multiple passive income streams and see yourself potentially earning several extra dollars a day, moving on to several hundreds of extra dollars a day to several thousands of extra dollars per day. Moving you from a position of just trying to get your head above water, insulate yourself and prepare for high inflation and de-dollarization and diminishing value of the dollar to excess and abundance, and the ultimate goal of acquiring assets and more cash flow producing assets, businesses, diversity, security, and cash flow. Diversity, security, and cash flow. Think about the big companies, the uber wealthy, the billionaires of the world. What they do, what they've done, what they continue to execute on is diversity, security, and cash flow.